Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions. You are watching I Watch You Watch. Thank you for stopping by. We are covering Bondage, this web series that was created by Mr. Carlton T. Clay. I did announce on last week that season 4 is on its way at the beginning of January, and I'm so excited. We are going to be covering season 3, episode 4, entitled Darkness. Please like this video out of support of me, and you can subscribe if you are not subscribed as of yet, and you can leave your comments below. Now let's get into this episode. Okay, so we have a little voiceover of Bond, and he's speaking in this theme of how what really is the catalyst what's the straw that breaks the camel's back. This is my own words, but what makes a person step over into darkness? He says, what is the catalyst that makes a person go from one extreme to the next? It could be blurred as to what really happened, and sometimes it's too blurred that you don't know that you've crossed to the other side. You're just really guided by whatever your emotions are telling you to do. And sometimes you don't recognize that you have crossed over, and it may be too late to cross back to the other side. During some of this voiceover, we're seeing Ren, this is like the next morning, Ren kissing Roxanne feeling really uncomfortable about it, and we also see Winston, who has a hoodie and a pow-pow, trying to be YouTube friendly, so please don't mind some of my words. Next thing you know, we see Mrs. Nolan and the detective. This is the one that has ID'd Bond as the one who has unalived her husband. And that was the husband that was in with his wife while Bond was having sex with her. So detective's asking, I think Mrs. Nolan is asking, do you have any more information? He's like, no. And then the detective was like, do you have anything else that you can give me? And she said no. But later on this episode, all we got is question marks, because obviously you have not turned Bond in. You just gave this description, and they don't know where to look for him at. Roxanne, she showers, and she washes herself off as if she's just dirty after what she had to experience with Ren. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, is this your first time? I know that you're probably not used to, like, the threesome situation, but I was like, okay, like you are really just disgusted at, and maybe it's not just towards this man, because he was teaching you and what you need to do to get that money to be an escort. So I'm like, okay. But I think a lot of people, I'll just say this much. Some people can think that they are ready for something, and then when they actually do it, they're like, oh no, I can't do it, you know? And then some people, when you cross over to the other side and you're just like, no, I should not have done it. You have instant regret, you know? So that's what I choose to believe with all that's going on with Roxanne. I think she may just be disgusted that she had to share her bed with another woman, and she was forced into that type of situation. Crazy. Lorenzo has a meeting with Jamal and Bond, and he announces that Eric is no longer with us, and he says that he made a decision, and that's the end of the story. So don't ask no questions, basically. He also tells them, don't make any plans unless it is to satisfy our clients. And then he says that I have an assignment for both you and Jamal. It's going to be with one person. So another threesome, 2 escorts. Like, what kind of money y'all got for this type of experience? Okay. So Roxanne gets out the shower, and next thing you know, we see Ramon. He's funneling through Lorenzo's stuff, and Roxanne comes into the room and says, who the F are you? And he says, I'm an associate with Lorenzo, and he asked me to come over here to get something. What in the world was that? Who knows? So Roxanne kind of just like, okay, do what you want to do. And Ramon notices that she's just kind of out of it. Like, are you good? And she says, I'm good. Like, leave me alone. They get on Ren about something. I jotted it down. I think Ramon said that there was a whole other side that you don't even know about. And Roxanne, I think, said, I think I do know. Then Ramon was like, do you want to talk about anything? And she says that I'm not going to give out information to a stranger. And then Ramon said, I feel you. Sometimes with a stranger, they can be objective in ways that if you are familiar with someone. I think she ended up saying, have you ever felt like someone has sucked all the joy and life out of your soul? You ever done something so dirty, so worthless, so ugly? And Ramon said, look, however you feel, I just want to let you know that you are a queen. He's really rubbing her up and down with all of these affirmations and da 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 da. So then Roxanne ends up kissing Ramon. Ramon stops her and says, look, Ren's my boy. And Roxanne said, I don't care. Look, I just want to feel good. So you can imagine what's about to happen. The next scene, Bond and Jamal show up to their client, and guess who it is? Mrs. Nolan. And Bond is like, what are you doing? What's up? And she said, I'm playing the game. And she said, unless you want me to call the police, you'll let me win. So then those three have fun together. It's quite weird, and all I got is still all these question marks. Like, you're going to the detective, like, you're concerned about your husband's killer, but you're still sleeping with the one that you said unalived. Your husband. So what's up? Then we move over to Jackie and Anita. Jackie confronts Anita and asks, is Paul my father? And she said, yes. And she said, how come you didn't tell me? And Anita says, she's an evil man. And Jackie says, pot to kettle. You've definitely been evil, lady. You've been evil. And then Jackie says, you've made it your whole entire mission to take my happiness away. And then she walks and leaves out of the room. So after the threesome between Bond and Jamal, she tells the men, I'll be in touch. They go outside, she shuts the door, and Bond tells Jamal, look, the job stays here. I don't want to talk about nothing, da 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 da. Because he's like, well, what's going on? Y'all act like y'all know each other, da 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 da. So with Roxanne and Ramon, Ren, I'm gonna tell you this much, and Anita, you come here too. Now you've been obsessed with Bond's deal, but seeing how Roxanne and Ramon was interacting with each other, you missed out on somebody that should have been one of your escorts. And Anita, I think that maybe Bond, maybe number 2, and Ramon might be number 1. I'm just saying. But guess what? Different strokes for different folks. I can say that much. But I was like, dang, like, he's really going at it, and she's taking it. Anyways, they finally done what they messed. Back at the but before we go there, Ren, he's at the office, and he's chewing on his Flintstone vitamins. He's finding out that they're not really working. So then he goes into another drawer and takes out some cocaine. And he starts sniffing that. I said, Lord, there's always a gateway to something more extreme. Now he's on that. Let's see what type of chaos he can actually stir up now that he'll be now. So Roxanne and Ramon, I forgot who said, don't tell Lorenzo. And of course they made a pact that they're not going to do that. So after Ramon leaves, Roxanne, she gets up and she's fondling through Lorenzo's paperwork, and she finds a book about the escort organization. Lorenzo comes in and he's like, what's going on? What you doing with my stuff? And she sees this accounting book, and she's like, why is my brother's name on this book? Then she shows Ren, as Ren is like, this is none of your business. I found these drugs here. Are you using or selling it? And you know that my daddy was unalived from this stuff. And basically she wants him to get rid of that. And all of a sudden Lorenzo goes crazy and says, I'm tired of MFers taking Ish away from me. He pulls out this gun and gets into a struggle with Roxanne and makes her lie down on the bed like he's about to pop out. Next thing you know, Ramon comes back in the room and he ends up just out of a knee-jerk reaction shooting and unaliving Ramon. He points back at Roxanne after what he just did, and it looks like he was about to unalive her. He tells her to get the F out of there as he's yelling and screaming at her, and she gets the F up out of there. Oh. And then after Roxanne leaves, then he starts bawling, like, because he has crashed out. It's like there's so much fruit to the story of Ren as we get into the background of what really is going on with him. It's quite crazy, but it just kind of reminds me of Power Book Ghost. And you look at how Mary J. Blige, her character's children were raised. It's giving me that type of feel. And this was before the series came out, so of course Carlton T. Clay be a pioneer for a lot of stuff that seems to just shoot off after he does it. I'm just saying. So where am I at? Oh, Winston and Anita. Anita comes home and finds Winston there, and he's rummaging through the drawers. And Anita's asking, where have you been? And Winston said, don't worry about it. And then Anita was like, you're my husband. I'm always going to worry about you. He has an exchange of words, and he ends up getting into a struggle with her and asks her, did you smash Bond? And she ends up saying yes. So there's a little struggle going on with the gun, and it goes off. She gets Winston's body off of her, and it looks like he's been unalive. So Anita got her stuff and got out of there, as I would too. The detective goes to the hotel, and guess what? We have another case. It looks like Miss Nolan is no longer alive. Who did this? I guess we got to find out. It could not have been Bond. Of course, there's no way. Back at Bond's home, Bond is looking at pictures, and Jamal comes in and asks, are you all right? And Bond's response was, why did you come back here? And Jamal's like, huh? Like, why would you come back here? All there is misery and pain that we've all known. You made it out. For real, it's really kind of weird, Jamal, that you would come back here. And then he asks again, why did you come back? Jamal says this is his home. This is where his family is. And then next thing he says, I have something that I want to tell you. But Bond says, look, for right now, I don't want to hear it. He wasn't being rude or anything. I want to be alone. We can talk later. So, Anita's out in her car with her doors locked, frantic. Jackie comes up. It's apparent that Anita called Jackie, and she tells her about Winston. They go back into the house and check to see where Winston is. Winston is gone. And Jackie was basically like, he's gone. And then Anita was like, he's gone. And Jackie said, serves you right. I'm gone. Basically, she didn't want to hear anything he had to say. That Anita had to say anymore. So, back at Bond's home, Jamal calls for Bond. There's a new urgent news report. What happened? All of a sudden, we see that Miss Nolan is unalive. If anyone has any news on what's going on here, please contact the police as soon as possible. And both of them are in shock because they both just serviced her, of course, and Bond knows her a little bit more intimately. Then all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. They answer it. I forgot who answered it. But then Roxanne runs in and she runs into Bond's arms saying that you were right. You were right. Of course he was right. You just wanted to be hard-headed. You thought you was grown out in these streets. Anyways, there's a lot of questions. I'm sure we're going to get all the answers to it all. But I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Leave your comments below. Tell me how you enjoyed this episode. You can still purchase this season, all the seasons. You can binge other shows that Carlton T. Clay has. I keep saying T all the time. So hopefully nobody is getting annoyed by that. With Victory Productions. Go to his website. The link is in the description below. And just support. And again, get ready for season 4. That's coming in just a few weeks. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like and subscribe. Until the next one, peace.